India dominates the global stage, a rising power of immense scale and ancient mystery. But what few realize is that its story, like Iran's, might already be written in the Bible. Could this eastern giant be poised to fulfill ancient prophecies? It all starts in the book of Genesis. After the cataclysmic flood, God gives humanity a fresh start, revealing the foundational lineage of all nations. Noah and his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, became the forefathers of new peoples who would spread across the earth. In chapter 10, we find the very first map of the world's nations, where Scripture declares, "From these the coastlands were populated, each according to their own languages, families, and nations." This ancient genealogy forms a divine blueprint, hinting at the origins of every civilization, including those that would emerge far to the east. Centuries later, whispers of distant, opulent lands begin to echo through biblical accounts. The books of Kings and Chronicles speak of Ophir and Tarshish, mysterious locations from which King Solomon's ships returned laden with unimaginable treasures: gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks. These exotic goods, often associated with the Indian subcontinent, suggest a vibrant connection between the biblical world and the lands far to the east. Scholars have long debated the precise locations of Ophir and Tarshish, but many compelling arguments point towards regions in or near ancient India, suggesting an enigmatic presence that enriched the ancient world and subtly wove India into the tapestry of early biblical narratives. From the subtle geographical hints of Genesis, a distinct and profound culture began to emerge in the ancient lands of India. This was the dawn of the Vedic period, a time when monumental spiritual and philosophical traditions took root in the fertile river valleys. Here, foundational texts like the Vedas were composed, articulating core concepts such as dharma, the cosmic order and righteous conduct, and karma, the intricate law of cause and effect. The philosophical depth of this era was extraordinary, marked by deep spiritual introspection and a relentless quest for ultimate truth. This was not merely religion. It was a comprehensive worldview, shaping a civilization's very soul and laying the groundwork for a wisdom that has quietly influenced the world for millennia. Yet, India's ancient influence was not confined to spiritual thought alone. Long before the rise of many Western empires, a grand civilization flourished in the Indus Valley, a testament to sophisticated urban planning and technological prowess. Cities like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa stood as marvels of antiquity, meticulously laid out with advanced drainage systems, multi-story dwellings, and public baths, revealing a society far ahead of its time. This civilization maintained extensive trade networks, exchanging goods and ideas across vast distances, from Mesopotamia to Central Asia. The artifacts unearthed from these sites, intricate seals, advanced metallurgy, and sophisticated crafts, speak of a highly organized and influential power, a forgotten grandeur that rivaled any in the ancient world, and positioned India as a foundational Eastern force in the earliest chapters of human history. As centuries unfolded, India solidified its role as a crucial bridge for goods, ideas, and cultures, connecting the distant Far East with the burgeoning empires of the biblical world. Ancient trade routes, both overland like the nascent Silk Road and vast maritime arteries across the Indian Ocean, facilitated an astonishing flow of exotic spices, luxurious textiles, and precious jewels. But more than commodities, philosophical ideas, and spiritual insights also traveled these unseen pathways, fostering indirect yet profound contact between India and the Middle East and the Mediterranean. These ancient networks, bustling with caravans and ships, unknowingly shaped the world, subtly touching the edges of biblical history and laying the groundwork for future, more direct interactions. Indeed, the spiritual and intellectual currents of ancient India ran deep, giving rise to profound philosophical schools such as the Upanishads, and later, the revolutionary insights of early Buddhism and Jainism. These traditions, born in the tranquility of forest ashrams and honed through rigorous debate, focused intensely on universal truths, ethical living, and the very nature of existence, questions that resonate across all humanity. While distinct in their paths, these ancient Indian philosophical quests often mirrored the spiritual inquiries and prophetic wisdom found in the Judeo-Christian tradition. They represent a shared human yearning for understanding, a profound search for truth that echoes even in the desert landscapes where biblical narratives unfolded. India, then, established itself not merely as a land of material wealth, but as a monumental intellectual and spiritual force, long before its more direct encounters with the biblical world. For centuries, the East and West remained largely separate, their worlds orbiting different cultural suns. But then, a force emerged from the West, unlike any before it. Alexander the Great, driven by an insatiable ambition, swept across empires, conquering all in his path. His armies, a formidable tide of Hellenistic might, pushed past Persia, past the formidable Hindu Kush mountains, until they reached the banks of the Indus River. It was here, on the very edge of the Indian subcontinent, that the Western world, for the first time, truly glimpsed the ancient power of India. Though Alexander's campaign ultimately turned back, this epic encounter left an indelible mark, a brief but profound exchange of cultures, art, and philosophies, opening a new chapter of East-West contact. This glimpse into the unknown revealed a civilization of immense scale and complexity, a power the West had only dimly imagined. Centuries later, the Roman Empire, a titan of the Western world, found itself inextricably linked to India, not by conquest, but by commerce. From bustling Roman ports, ships embarked on perilous journeys across vast oceans, returning laden with the treasures of the East. Spices that tantalized palates, silks that adorned emperors, and jewels that glittered in imperial courts. These were the goods that flowed from India, fueling the Roman economy and enriching its elite. This thriving maritime trade was more than just an exchange of commodities. It was a vital artery connecting continents, subtly weaving India's economic power and exotic allure into the very fabric of the broader Mediterranean world, including the lands of Judea. India's riches, unknowingly to many, became a driving force in the ancient world. Yet India's shores were not only visited by merchants and soldiers. A profound tradition, rich in faith and history, tells of a direct spiritual encounter with the biblical world. The legend asserts that one of Christ's own apostles, Thomas, journeyed across the arduous routes to ancient South India, bearing the gospel message. Here, amidst a tapestry of ancient faiths, he is said to have preached, performed miracles, and established the first Christian communities, now known as the St. Thomas Christians. While historical debates continue regarding the precise details of his mission, the enduring presence of these ancient Christian traditions stands as a powerful testament to an astonishing and overlooked connection. It reveals how the seeds of Abrahamic faith may have been planted in India long before they took root across much of the Western world. But the Apostle Thomas was not the only link between India and the people of the book. What few realize is the surprising history of ancient Jewish communities that thrived for millennia on India's southwestern coast, particularly in places like Cochin. These communities, often called the Malabar Jews, maintained their unique faith and identity for centuries, integrating into the local culture while preserving their spiritual heritage. Their long and peaceful presence, a testament to India's historical openness, showcases another unique and often overlooked connection between this Eastern power and the biblical peoples. For generations, these distant settlements served as a quiet, enduring bridge between two distinct worlds. Beyond these direct encounters, India's spiritual influence reached across continents through its own profound exports. From its fertile spiritual soil, Buddhism emerged, a philosophy and faith that would sweep across Asia, fundamentally reshaping cultures from Sri Lanka to Japan. The teachings of the Buddha, with their emphasis on universal truths, compassion, and the path to enlightenment, resonated deeply, impacting countless societies and their philosophical landscapes. This expansive spiritual movement from India, though distinct from the Abrahamic tradition, demonstrates India's unparalleled capacity to generate and export profound wisdom, subtly influencing spiritual paths and thought patterns across the world, and reinforcing its status as a major source of global spiritual currents. Beyond the ancient spiritual quests and vibrant trade routes, India demonstrated an enduring capacity for profound internal power. forging vast empires that dominated the subcontinent for centuries. Among the earliest and most formidable was the Mauryan Empire. Arising from the chaos left by Alexander's withdrawal, Chandragupta Maurya consolidated power with astonishing speed and military genius. His vision unified a fragmented land, establishing a vast and intricately governed empire stretching across nearly all of India. Later, under his grandson Asoka the Great, this immense power found a new direction. After a brutal conquest, Ashoka converted to Buddhism, transforming his rule into one of peace, justice, and propagation of Dharma across his dominion and beyond. The Mauryan state, with its sophisticated administration and vast territory, was a testament to India's inherent strength, a forgotten might that once dominated a subcontinent, setting an early precedent for unified Eastern power. Centuries later, India would once again rise to unparalleled heights, entering what historians call its Golden Age, under the Gupta Empire. This era, from the 4th to the 6th centuries CE, was a period of astonishing intellectual and cultural flourishing, echoing a divine spark of creativity across the land. It was here that the concept of zero was formalized, the decimal system perfected, and Arabic numerals, which are, in fact, Indian, were developed, fundamentally reshaping global mathematics. Astronomers made groundbreaking discoveries about the Earth's rotation and circumference, while physicians pioneered intricate surgical techniques. Sanskrit literature reached its zenith, producing timeless epics and poetic masterpieces. The Gupta Age was a radiant testament to India's enduring intellectual and creative power, a civilization of global significance whose innovations reshaped knowledge and left an indelible mark on the world. Yet India's power was not confined to land or intellect. In the south, a different kind of empire emerged, the Chola dynasty, a formidable maritime powerhouse that commanded the seas. From the 9th to the 13th centuries, the Cholas built a formidable navy, projecting their influence far beyond the Indian subcontinent. Their ships sailed the Indian Ocean, establishing extensive trade networks and cultural outposts in Southeast Asia, reaching as far as Malaysia, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka. These were not mere trading expeditions. They were expressions of military and economic dominance, spreading Indian culture, art, and religion across vast oceans. This forgotten naval dominance, a power that once commanded the seas and spread its influence across half the world, showcased India's capacity for projecting power and shaping distant civilizations. As empires in the West rose and fell, India continued its grand narrative of power and cultural synthesis. The arrival of the Mughals in the 16th century ushered in another era of breathtaking splendor and enduring strength. The Mughal Empire, a unique blend of Persian, Islamic, and indigenous Indian cultures, gave birth to unparalleled artistic and architectural marvels. The Taj Mahal, a monument to eternal love, stands as a crowning jewel of this epoch, yet it is merely one example of the empire's vast architectural legacy. With immense wealth, sophisticated administration, and a powerful military, the Mughals established a dominant force that shaped the subcontinent for over 2 centuries. This was a new Eastern powerhouse, a testimony to India's continuous capacity to adapt, integrate, and thrive as a major global player. The relentless march of history, however, brought a period of profound challenge. The 18th century saw the gradual ascendancy of European powers, culminating in the establishment of the British Raj. For nearly 2 centuries, India, a land of ancient empires and profound wisdom, found itself under foreign rule. It was an era of immense change, marked by economic exploitation, social upheaval, and the introduction of new administrative systems. Yet, even under this subjugation, India's ancient spirit endured. The seeds of national identity were inadvertently sown, modern infrastructure laid, and a shared language of administration emerged. This crucible of change, though painful, served as a precursor to India's reassertion of its ancient identity, setting the stage for its modern resurrection. And so, the narrative brings us to the present. From the ashes of colonial rule, modern India has risen, a testament to its indomitable spirit and ancient legacy. Since gaining independence in 1947, India has embarked on a remarkable journey as the world's largest democracy. It has emerged as a global economic powerhouse, its rapid growth fueled by a thriving technology sector, a massive consumer market, and ambitious infrastructure projects. From launching satellites into space to becoming a pharmaceutical giant, India's advancements are undeniable. Its military is now among the largest and most capable in the world, and its voice echoes with increasing influence in international forums. This dramatic rise of modern India, a sleeping giant awakened, now stands as a formidable Eastern power on the global stage, poised to fulfill an ancient, unspoken destiny intricately woven into the fabric of unfolding prophecy. After millennia of whispers and ancient echoes, the narrative of India now pivots, sharply turning from the annals of history to the unwritten pages of prophecy. For centuries, the Bible has foretold a dramatic chapter in humanity's final days, a time when ancient rivers will dry and a gate will open for powers from the rising sun. In Revelation chapter 16, verse 12, we read a chilling declaration. The sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up, to prepare the way for the kings from the east. This passage, often studied, rarely understood in its full modern context, speaks of a divine preparation, a deliberate clearing of obstacles for a coming force. But who are these kings from the east? Could the awakening giant of India, with its ancient spiritual heritage and its surging modern power, be among them, or even central to their emergence? For too long, interpretations of these kings from the East have been confined to narrow geographical limits, often defaulting to nations immediately bordering the Euphrates or even solely to China. Yet, the biblical understanding of the East in ancient times was far more expansive, reaching into the distant and mysterious lands beyond Mesopotamia. When the scriptures speak of the East, they often encompass the vast, sprawling territories stretching across Asia, a realm where India has always stood as a colossal and enduring power. To limit this prophecy to only immediate neighbors or a single nation is to ignore the true scope of ancient geography and the immense civilizations that flourished further east. Could our modern, limited perspective be blinding us to the true identity of these prophesied kings? And if so, does India, a civilization millennia old, with a deep spiritual and historical influence across the entire Asian continent, fit this broader, more accurate vision of the East? Consider India's undeniable strategic location. Perched at the heart of Asia, dominating the vast expanse of the Indian Ocean, it acts as a colossal gateway. To its west lies the Middle East, a region perpetually at the epicenter of prophetic events. To its east, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific. This unique geographical position means that any significant movement of power, any large-scale military or economic thrust from the deeper east, would almost inevitably involve or pass through India's sphere of influence. Its coastlines are dotted with vital ports, its interior crisscrossed by routes that have served as arteries of trade and conquest for millennia. If a path is truly being prepared for the kings from the east, then India, as the strategic linchpin of the entire continent, becomes an indispensable component, a geographical key that could unlock future global movements. Furthermore, the imagery of kings in biblical prophecy often denotes not just political leaders, but powerful, influential nations, empires of significant wealth and global sway. In this context, modern India's surging economic might cannot be overlooked. It stands as one of the world's fastest-growing major economies, a titan of manufacturing, a burgeoning technological hub, and a consumer market of unparalleled scale. Its cities pulse with innovation, its industries churn out goods for the world, and its financial markets echo with global impact. This is not a struggling nation. It is an economic powerhouse, a force so immense that its wealth and influence alone could easily qualify it as a king among nations. The sheer scale of its economic ascent aligns with the prophetic description of formidable Eastern powers, demonstrating a capacity for global impact that few other nations can rival. India's economic and strategic might is undeniably formidable, Yet it is its military modernization that truly positions it as a major global power. This nation, with its vast population, commands one of the largest standing armies in the world. Its defense spending ranks among the highest globally, fueling a relentless pursuit of advanced weaponry and indigenous military technology. From cutting-edge fighter jets soaring through its skies to a formidable blue-water navy patrolling the Indian Ocean and an arsenal of advanced missiles, India possesses a capacity for large-scale military projection and defense that few nations can match. It is a nuclear power, a fact that imbues its every strategic move with immense gravitas. This terrifying military might of modern India, a force capable of reshaping global conflicts, now beckons the question: is it also a force potentially fulfilling prophecies of end-times armies? This formidable military strength operates within an even more complex web of international relations. India's foreign policy, historically rooted in non-alignment, has evolved into a pragmatic, multifaceted approach. It maintains strong ties with Russia for defense, navigates a tense yet economically intertwined relationship with China, and cultivates growing partnerships across the Middle East. These intricate relationships, shifting and uncertain, create a dynamic where India could find itself positioned within any number of future coalitions. The question then becomes, how might these complex alliances unexpectedly align with the forces described in end times prophecy? Evidence of this shifting global dynamic is clearly seen in India's active participation in emerging Eastern-aligned organizations. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or SCO, and the BRICS bloc represent a significant consolidation of power that challenges traditional Western dominance. India is not merely a member, it is an active participant, contributing to the strategic and economic directives of these groups. These blocs are more than just economic forums. They are platforms where military cooperation and geopolitical alignment are increasingly discussed. These powerful Eastern alliances, with India at their heart, are actively shaping a future that echoes ancient prophetic warnings of a world order transformed. When we consider the vast end times prophecies, particularly the chilling vision of Gog and Magog in Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39, India's potential role takes on an even deeper significance. While nations like Persia, Kush, and Put are explicitly named in this doomsday alliance against Israel, the prophecy also speaks of many peoples with you. This phrase opens the door to a broader coalition, a vast international army surging against God's restored people. Given India's immense military, economic, and strategic power, it is not unreasonable to hypothesize that this Eastern giant could be a silent yet significant partner within such an alliance. Uncovering how India's rise could fulfill the many peoples, prophecy of Ezekiel solidifies its potential place in the ultimate end-times conflict. Crucial to understanding the Eastern power dynamic is the complex, often contradictory, relationship between India and China. Both are ancient civilizations, nuclear powers, and economic titans, and their shared Himalayan border is a constant flashpoint. Yet they are also deeply intertwined economically. Revelation's dragon symbolism is widely associated with China, a power whose global ambitions are unmistakable. The question becomes, how will India's destiny intertwine with China's in the prophetic future? Will India align with the dragon in a grand Eastern coalition, or will their historical tensions lead to a different, perhaps even more volatile scenario? This pivotal relationship between India and China, two giants of the East, holds keys to a future that could ignite or secure the prophetic timeline. Furthermore, modern infrastructure projects are literally forging the pathways for these Eastern powers. Initiatives like China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative and India's own counter-strategies to expand its influence across the Indian Ocean region are creating vast networks of roads, railways, and ports. These modernized corridors facilitate the rapid movement of goods, people, and, crucially, military logistics across continents. These developments echo Revelation's prophecy of the Euphrates drying, not just as a geographical event, but as a symbolic way prepared for the kings from the East. Witness how modern infrastructure is literally paving the way for the kings of the East transforming ancient prophecies into undeniable reality right before our eyes. Witness the undeniable convergence of history, geopolitics, and ancient prophecy, pointing to India's central role in the unfolding end times. From its ancient roots as a cradle of profound wisdom and a beacon of trade, to its burgeoning economic power that now reshapes global markets, India has always been a force. Its formidable military might, equipped with advanced technology and an immense human resource, positions it as a dominant player in any future conflict. We have seen its intricate web of strategic alliances, its participation in emerging Eastern blocs like the SCO and BRICS, and its undeniable strategic location. When viewed through the lens of prophecies from Revelation and Ezekiel, these characteristics align with chilling precision. India's trajectory suggests a nation not merely observing, but potentially central to the prophetic descriptions of powerful Eastern nations in the end times. Imagine the unimaginable, a colossal army, a cloud covering the land, and how India's might could make it a terrifying reality. Ezekiel's vision is stark, a vast coalition surging against Israel, described as a cloud covering the land, you and all your troops and many peoples with you. This is no small skirmish. This is a force of biblical proportions. For an army to truly cover the land, to move with such overwhelming scale and presence, it would require immense human and logistical resources. India, with its staggering population and one of the world's largest standing armies, possesses the very capacity to contribute such magnitude, transforming an ancient prophecy into a chillingly plausible reality on the global stage. Uncovers the dark motivations that could unite powerful nations in a doomsday alliance, and how India might be drawn into its gravitational pull. But why would such an alliance form? What motivations could drive nations of such diverse backgrounds to unite against a common target, particularly against God's restored people? Historical grievances, economic competition, and ideological clashes often fuel geopolitical tensions. The modern world sees rising anti-Western sentiment, a struggle for global dominance, and a quest for control over vital resources. Prophecy indicates nations will rise against God's restored people. These motivations, whether driven by economic ambition, political ideology, or a spiritual blindness to God's ultimate plan, could coalesce into the very alliance foretold, with India's significant weight potentially shifting the balance of power. Witness the terrifying, inevitable judgment that awaits any nation, even a mighty Eastern power like India, that dares to defy God's ultimate plan. Yet amidst this gathering storm, the ancient prophecies speak with terrifying clarity of an undeniable force that no earthly power can withstand: God Himself. For this attack will provoke God's direct intervention, triggering severe judgment. Earthquakes will shake the very ground beneath their feet, fire will rain down from the heavens, and confusion will seize the armies. As it is written, "And so I will show my greatness and my holiness, and I will make myself known in the sight of many nations." No earthly power, no grand coalition, no military might, not even a formidable Eastern power like India, can ultimately prevail against God's sovereign plan. Reveals that even in its darkest prophetic role, India remains a part of God's intricate design, leading to a final, unexpected twist. India's journey, from the ancient whispers of Ophir to its modern geopolitical ascent and its potential role in the prophetic end times, is a narrative woven by an unseen hand. It reinforces the theme of divine sovereignty. God uses nations, even those seemingly distant or in defiance, for His ultimate purposes. Whether as a trading partner in antiquity, a bridge for spiritual ideas, or a potential participant in a future alliance, India's story has always been part of God's greater plan. But does this mean India's story, like all nations that rise in defiance, ends only in judgment? Here, the unseen hand of divine sovereignty reveals a deeper truth, a surprising twist that offers a profound possibility of redemption, even for a nation aligned against Him. The prophecies of Ezekiel describe not only the gathering of a vast, multinational army against Israel, but also the cataclysmic aftermath of God's direct intervention. Imagine a landscape scarred by divine judgment, a scene of utter desolation stretching to the horizon. The attacking armies, once a formidable cloud covering the land, now lie scattered, their ranks decimated by fire from heaven, by earthquakes, and by utter confusion. Weapons, once instruments of war, burn for 7 long years, a testament to the devastating force unleashed. Any nation caught in this alliance, including a formidable Eastern power like India, would face these severe, undeniable consequences. Yet, amidst this stark certainty of judgment, Scripture offers a surprising twist, a promise, almost forgotten yet profound in its implications. The prophet Jeremiah, centuries before, spoke concerning Elam, ancient Persia, a nation explicitly named in the Gog-Magog coalition. He declared, "I will shatter the bow of Elam, the backbone of its strength. Yet nevertheless, in the latter days I will restore the captives of Elam, declares the Lord." This is a prophecy with 2 sides. First, judgment, a shattering of strength, but then an unexpected and powerful promise of restoration. If this door of redemption remains open for Elam, a named participant in the end times assault, could a similar, unspoken promise exist for India, the Eastern power, even if it finds itself entangled in the final conflict? This changes everything. Because even in judgment, God's ultimate purpose is not annihilation, but redemption. His character is one of profound mercy, desiring that all nations turn to Him. The very act of divine reckoning, while terrifying in its precision, serves to draw humanity back, to reveal His unassailable sovereignty. The door of grace, therefore, remains open, even for nations deeply embroiled in defiance. It suggests a future possibility for India, that after the prophetic events unfold, its ancient spiritual heart could experience an awakening, turning towards the true God, who holds all history in His hands. And what a future that promises to be! For Scripture paints a glorious vision of ultimate restoration, where all nations will journey to Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts. It is written that everyone who remains of the nations that came against Jerusalem shall go up year after year to worship the King and to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. Imagine a world unified, not in conflict, but in worship. Perhaps among those nations, ascending to Jerusalem with joy and reverence, stands India. With its deep spiritual heritage, its ancient quest for truth, India could ultimately find its true destiny, not in defiance, but in the glorious worship of the one true God. For millennia, India has been a land defined by an insatiable spiritual hunger. From the ancient Vedic hymns echoing through river valleys to the profound philosophical inquiries of the Upanishads and the countless traditions that have blossomed across its vast landscapes, India's very essence is a quest for truth. This deep-seated seeker's heart suggests a unique receptivity, a fertile ground for ultimate divine revelation. Even amidst its diverse ancient wisdom, there is an unmistakable universal longing, a silent yearning that, in the divine economy, points toward the one true God. This enduring spiritual DNA positions India not merely as a historical entity or a future prophetic player, but as a nation whose ancient quest may yet find its ultimate fulfillment. From its earliest, almost imperceptible mentions in Genesis to its profound ancient wisdom, its grand civilizations, and its potential daunting role in the end times, India's story is not a collection of random events. It is a testament to the meticulous, unwavering sovereignty of God. His plan is not limited to one nation or one people. It encompasses all humanity, all kingdoms, and all empires, even those seemingly distant or profoundly different. India's destiny, whether through its ancient contributions, its potential participation in a future alliance against God's people, or its ultimate, surprising restoration, is intricately woven into this greater unfolding narrative. It is a powerful reminder that there are no coincidences in the divine timeline, only the steady, unyielding hand of the Almighty orchestrating history towards its certain conclusion. The enigma of the East, once a whisper in ancient texts, now thunders in today's headlines. India's rise is undeniable, and its potential role in the unfolding prophetic narrative demands our attention. We are living in times when prophecies, once confined to ancient scrolls, are now alive and active. It is vital, therefore, to observe global events, particularly those emanating from the East, through the discerning lens of biblical understanding. The urgency of these times calls us to watch, to understand, and to recognize the signs as they unfold right before our eyes. From the ancient whispers of Ophir and Tarshish, across the philosophical depths of the Vedic age, to the grandeur of the Mauryan and Mughal empires, India has silently carved its indelible mark upon history. We have journeyed through its profound spiritual heritage, its strategic position as a global crossroads, and its undeniable rise as an economic and military powerhouse. Now, in our modern era, as geopolitical alliances shift and ancient prophecies stir, this Eastern giant stands poised to potentially fulfill a pivotal, yet complex, role in the unfolding narrative of the end times. India's story, like that of many nations, is a microcosm of God's intricate plan for all humanity, a testament to divine sovereignty weaving through every epoch, from its earliest biblical echoes to the sweeping visions of Revelation. Its destiny is truly etched within the fabric of sacred history. And now, after tracing India's monumental journey through millennia of history and prophecy, we must ask ourselves, do you believe India is fulfilling its prophetic role today? We are living in times when prophecies unfold quietly, often hidden in plain sight, and what once seemed ancient is now more alive than ever. So, where do you think we stand in this story? Do you see signs of these prophecies in today's headlines, in the shifting powers, the emerging alliances, the economic might of the East? These are not mere academic questions. They are a call to spiritual discernment, essential for every believer. The conversation has only just begun. Your insights are invaluable as we collectively seek to understand God's greater plan. Leave your thoughts in the comment box below. And if you'd like us to keep exploring how current events connect with biblical prophecy, if you're ready to uncover more hidden truths that illuminate our present moment, give this video a thumbs up and share it with those who seek understanding. This lets us know we should continue uncovering more prophecies unfolding right before our eyes, guiding us through these pivotal times. But if you're ready to dive even deeper, if the spirit of revelation stirs within you, click right now on the video you see on your screen. There, we unveil Ancient Prophecies of the Divine King, India's Unseen Connection. In these times, understanding is more essential than ever. The threads of prophecy are tightening, and the unseen hand of God continues to move. Blessings.